I thank the chairman. I have a lot of friends in this room, and some are all are on one side and many are on the other side. But I've heard some shocking things in here that will literally take my breath away. Adding to the Canadian fires. Literally take my breath away. Someone offered up the Catholic charities. And the Republicans are known to introduce legislation and try to pass legislation to penalize the Pope, Catholic charities, and other nonprofits for simply doing what the scriptures in their faith tell them to do. In addition, the kind of self-righteous testimony that I've heard, and is not ad hominem of anybody, I've said it generically, is unbelievable. It is simply unbelievable. I've been on Homeland Security since 9/11, helped create the committee and the department. I could turn around and blame the victims who jumped out of the building. That's how outrageous this testimony has been. As it relates to Title 42, since it was lifted, the number of unlawful crossings at the southwest border has dropped nearly 65% per the Biden administration. The administration last 2 fiscal years, DHS has seized more fentanyl and arrested more criminals for committing crimes related to fentanyl and precursor chemicals than any previous 5 years combined. Fentanyl seizures are even higher in FY 2023. I really don't know what you're talking about. The administration has strategically placed more than 24,000 Border Patrol agents, officers, thousands of troops and contractors to the concern of many various positions, and over 1,000 asylum officers along the border. Let me be very clear. Chairman of this committee said, as relates to the impeachment of the secretary, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Someone tell me how we're going to, in a bipartisan way, do the job that the American people want us to do. We are all concerned. But the misrepresentation of what Border Patrol agents are saying, I don't know what you all are hearing. When I go, they are both they're both collegiate, congenial, factual, compassionate, and reasonable. They love their job, and they believe that a lot of work is being done by Congress to give them resources, and someone just said they need no resources. And when there are issues that need to be addressed, we do need to address them in a bipartisan way, as opposed to condemnation. But for every visit you've been to the border, I've probably doubled it. And I've walked the streets and seen the despair. I've been in the nonprofits, and yes, I have seen the horrors of the Trump administration snatching children away from their parents and the complete disconnect that the children got in only months of separation when they tried to reunite them. And the children were looking in shock at the mother and would not even go to the parent. That's how dysfunctional they had become. I have a short time, Mr. Forgive me, Melnick. I know you have 3 names, but forgive me. Give me just a quick snippet of the fact that the world has changed with the amount of migration and people moving, i.e. Venezuela, and it is enormous. Just quickly, because I have another question quickly for you.
Yeah, this is the big difference between the Biden administration and the Trump administration is who is coming. The Trump administration, it was mostly Mexicans and Central Americans. Now we are seeing far greater flows from other parts of the Western Hemisphere, in particular Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua, which pose very different challenges to processing.
For those who say we're doing nothing, I know that the American Immigration Council has done some work on this. Can you discuss what you found as it relates to arrests by Customs and Border Protection of individuals trafficking fentanyl? And can you quickly distinguish, there is something called human smuggling, which is what the bulk of activity is going on with the cartels and the smugglers. It is different from human trafficking. I am a champion against human trafficking. Please explain the fentanyl issue that you've been able to determine and how smuggling and trafficking is different and how it is human smuggling that is going on at the border, and that the administration has its hand on trafficking. Yes, sir.
Yeah, really
and let me say
quickly-
Reichlin Melner. Thank
Yes. Really quickly, smuggling is usually people pay a smuggler to smuggle themselves. Trafficking is people who are being trafficked involuntarily against their own will. And when it comes to fentanyl, I think there I look to what the law enforcement agencies say, CBP, ICE HSI, the DEA, and the FBI all say the overwhelming majority of hard drugs such as fentanyl come into the U.S. at ports of entry, smuggled usually in passenger cars and most often by U.S. citizens.
And they're catching them.
The fentanyl seizures have increased every year, and I believe the deployment of non-intrusive inspection technology increases year by year.
Gentlelady's time is
Thank you.
expired, Mr.
I yield back, Mr. Chairman.